when we look at what we're doing, trying to create ourselves, trying to defend ourselves from ridicule, trying to protect ourselves from our self-sabotage, trying to project ourselves into the future of our dreams, a lot of it's self-infatuated, maybe narcissistic, definitely ego-centric. And a lot of self-development work is about, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, coming to know yourself, defining your boundaries, declaring, you know what, I don't give a shit, this is me, world, being independent and individual, self-driven. All these things are such an important, I mean, it's like if you're a child and you first learn to make a sandwich, it's like, yeah, I'm empowered, I can make my own food, I can dress myself. That's an awesome state to get to. And, you know, I'm sure there's many aspects of that that I need to develop myself as well. However, I question the extent that that can really change our lives. And what I'm really excited about is about crowdsourcing our individual decision-making. I think it makes so much sense. I think if we are no longer so protective about our personal stories, and that's one of the reasons at the moment I'm taking people through the process of creating storybooks out of their personal stories, of their lives, so we can have that said, we can lay it to rest, we can have that communicated and shared with the world. It exists. People can reference your message of your life, the story. But then what? It's like if you went to a library, that's one book of so many different books that we can write. And right now we have this unprecedented access to the collective consciousness. Well, right now I'm talking to people who are either interacting live or will see this at a later time. And that's crazy. That's like having, it's like the Wikipedia or the collective big data knowledge right at our fingertips. And I think it's stupid to defend our individual perspective when there's all these other vantage points, these people who are not attached to our story. It's like I can read a storybook, but I'm not going to deny that character a right to climb up a building because it's dangerous or it's silly. I'm not going to deny that romantic a chance to go up and declare his heart because he might get rejected. Like, I want the big story. I want to see this amazing life. And sure, I might have the sadistic nature of wanting to see them fall over and graze their knee or go through pain that I don't want to endure myself. But if we create a framework within a game, and I'm talking about my game I'm designing, Vicarious, if we design a framework that supports growth, expansion, increased network, increased resources, increased physical and mental well-being, why not give it a chance? Why not see what someone else would do with your life? And I've actually prepared some pictures to help my presentation. So here's us, right? Proud of ourselves. I made me, like I'm a self-made person. I know myself, I know my boundaries. I am who I say I am. Awesome, done, tick. And here you've got all the qualities, X, Y, Z. You know, for me, it's like, oh, I'm a graphic designer. I do creative direction. I like physical embodiment. I like elemental immersion. Yeah, so I've got the qualities and characteristics that you could make use of, you know? Like imagine if someone was a computer programmer, a neuroscientist. Imagine if someone was on, you know, Wall Street or whatever, a stockbroker, had qualities and characteristics that I don't have. That would be so exciting to be able to play that in life. And so this brings me to the point of, here's me, all blissful and loving of myself, working off my brain or my mind, my individual decision-making process. But what about this other array of places that my decisions could come from? What I eat, what I dress like, where I go, what I spend my money on, who I talk to. So you could go straight to the heart. Oh, I just feel like this today. I'm going to do something totally different. Cool, that's a start. You could go with the dice or some randomly generated kind of decision. That's cool as well, bit of chaos. You could go by rumor or opinion, just walk up to someone on the bus and say, yeah, hi, what should I eat for lunch? What should I do as a job today? Where should I invest my money? That's a possibility, which is also a bit random because you don't know who these people are. But this other option here is the one that my game Vicarious is based on. This 3-hat method, inspired by Edward de Bono's 6-hat method, I think. It's the idea of people holding different roles. So the red hat is the emotional hat. It's the person who cares about your emotional well-being, the emotional well-being of the people you interact with in life, looking at crowdsourced comments. So this is if it's a live stream adventure. The green hat is the creative hat. They tell you what to do. So they're in your ears and your headphones. They're going, cool, turn left, turn right, press that button. And they're making sure that you're just engaging in life. And the blue hat is the logical one, the quest master. They're looking at how to unlock achievements in your life. They've got a map on the screen in front of them, and they're guiding you through wherever you are, watching you through the camera you're using in your phone.
Do a spin left and a spin right. That looks so cool on the camera.
And this brings us to this amazing potential where you're no longer just relying on your personal subjective ideas. You're actually leveraging 3 other minds, which are not as precious about your identity as you are, and yet can possibly see the blind spot, your genius that you're not living at the moment. And so this is a simple idea of crowdsourcing. So it's the idea of we leverage our collective potential, whether it be through information, through resources. You know, you want to write a book, you say, cool, does everyone want to give me $5 to make this book? And all of a sudden you've got thousands of dollars in your account and you can go and print it. They do this in science as well. I think some scientists were trying to work out some genome thing or DNA strand thing they couldn't work out. They opened it up to the public, and all of a sudden you've got, like, I don't know how many, hundreds or thousands of minds trying to decode this thing. So why not use crowdsourcing for your life? There's you, a bit anxious but kind of excited. Oh my God, what are you going to do with me? And here are all of the other decision-making points. This crowd of people. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Why not do that in our adult lives? If you get to a point in your life when you think, you know what, I'm living the same loop. I'm coming up against the self-imposed barriers and boundaries, my own inhibitions. I'm limited by the scope of my own imagination or my perspective. I'm too attached to my history to really renew my future. This is what Vicarious is all about. I believe it's the next step. Like, I don't encourage people to do this if you're really trying to grapple with self-determinism. If you just want to feel like, if you hate control, obviously, it's a big thing to be puppeteered by another human being. If you are just struggling to come to terms with who you are, it's probably not the right gradient. But if you've kind of got a handle on that and you kind of have done what you think you can do with your life, I reckon this is the next space. And I'm really excited by the way that people can leverage their capacities and characteristics that other people don't have, to also bring in money, resources, like just be paid to do what you do. And it also leverages that perhaps possessive capitalistic thing of, like, I want to buy a person. I want to be able to control you. I think that's a definite part of humanity. I don't want to fight that. I want to try and channel that into something that's really expansive. And I think it's particularly important as we come to this day and age where the economy needs to be redefined, because our industrial way, our commodity-based capitalistic way of making things might be antiquated soon, with, you know, automation of things, with different types of trade systems coming into place. Like, this is where we start to experiment, A, with the meaning of life, B, with the potential of technology, and C, with what is a valuable and useful way to spend your life. Someone else might have a better idea than you. So this is my call out for 2 types of people at the moment. One, if you want to be a player, which means you want to have the controller in your hand and you think you might be able to inject some genius, some boldness, some novel approach to how someone else could live their life, reach out to me and register as a player. I'm going to be the first guinea pig. I did a little bit of this in Australia with my friend Paisley Hart, and that went well, and it's exciting to keep evolving this practice. So the game is called Vicarious. Well, that's probably backwards for you. Anyway, it's Vicarious, to live vicariously through another willing participant. And the Vicarians, the people on this side of the screen, are the people who are the human guinea pigs, who are the avatars in the video game of life. Those people who might take it simply as a experiment, a kind of cool, fun thing to try out, or might take it as a more deep delving self-development, psychological/spiritual process, a rites of passage to say, okay, I want to hear what someone else would do with these characteristics. If you had my skill set, if you were living where I live, what would you do with my life? And I really look forward to breaking people's lives open. That's what open world is all about. Realizing that we have access to the world. What happens if I talk to my neighbor? What happens if I caught a different bus to work? What happens if I just walked into a business place or ran onto a sports field? I don't know. So let's play with it. This is playing life as a game. Register if you want to be a player or you want to be a Vicarian. I'm going to be getting back on the field of life next week, and let's see what a crowd-sourced life would look like.